We back. We here for another episode of Paper Route. It's what day?
It's Hump Day! Woo, 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 woo. Do we have my video? Yay!
There we go.
Why do you
guess
like?
What today
this
is?
brings you so much joy.
I just love this.
He does love him.
Like,
No,
but
it really is
seriously,
like a
It's
good
the
vibe
camel.
commercial.
It's just like him going around to the cubicle, and I could hear the commercial like in my ear, like, you know what day it is? You know what day it is?
Mike,
And then he finally gets to that one person who goes, it's Hump Day.
something's wrong with you.
Yeah,
Mike,
I love it.
Mike.
I love it. I love it.
I feel like the
It's
voiceover
hump
of
day.
every character always has a New York accent. Why is that?
The camel didn't have a New York accent.
He didn't sound like it? Mike. You know what day it is? It's definitely.
Is that how you think we sound?
That is definitely
Sound
how
like he might
sound.
be
It's
named Tony.
Hump
Mike,
Day.
what day is it, Mike?
Hump Day.
Let's guess what today is.
He's either from New York or Boston.
It's Hump Day.
The Northeast.
Yeah. Wait, listen, it's Ashley, Nicole Moss, Brandon, Marshall, Corey
Yes,
in
sir.
the cut. You got Woo Out West, and we got BC in the booth, and Mysterious Manor Legend is here. But again, I don't think y'all ever
Is there a
see
shot?
what it
Can we
looks
put?
like.
Can we should like sneak attack Manderville?
One day, right?
Oh no, I don't know if we could.
Where
catch
is he
him.
at? We should just
Uh-oh.
throw the camera in his face.
Look, he mysteriously left the door open. Oh, was that a finger?
Yeah, we get a peace sign.
Peace sign.
We got a peace sign.
All right, well,
It's really funny, Corey, before you start.
Go ahead,
Brandon
go ahead.
has a beer on his desk.
Sure
Shout out
does.
to Troy Aikman and his 8 brand beer right here.
Mm-hmm.
And I have my iced coffee and my protection aura spray.
You
which
saged me?
No, I sage the space. We have just positive energy. It cleanses the space. It just puts you centered. You see the difference? Beer, aura spray. Beer, aura spray.
Let me ask you this. So, do you feel that you had to come in here and create some positive energy
No,
in the
no,
space
no.
because of yesterday?
No, absolutely not. Like, guys, if you missed the show yesterday, Brandon and I, we do that sometimes with each other. Most of the time it's off camera. This time we just happen to catch it on camera. No, but I'm just, I'm somebody who I feel like sometimes just living and existing in the world, like your energy can get a little bit off balance and you can just feel like you're not centered. And I just like to try to bring myself to my most centered space.
So you do that for yourself, but can you do that for others? Do
I
you
did
feel-
it in the room.
How's my energy right now?
It's good. I cleansed the room. We're in a good space. It's What Does Corey Know Day. This is going to be
is.
very exciting. We
It's
are
gonna
going
be a
to
fun
quiz Corey on what he does know, which is not going to be a lot.
But in culture, hip hop,
In culture,
music,
hip hop,
right,
yeah.
yeah.
It's. I've seen the list. It's some good stuff in there.
Yeah.
So we're gonna see what he knows. It's gonna be fun. You guys don't want to miss that.
No, I'm excited. And like I said yesterday, I think I'm gonna shock the world. I'm gonna shock the
Did you
world with
study?
how much I'm gonna
Did
know.
you study?
So what I did was I was like, all right, what old shows do I know, right? And I need to just
Oh, he
nail
went
those.
home and
I
did
need
work.
or movies, right? Like I need to nail those names. I need to nail those images in my head, so at least I know them in anticipation that they might pop up. So I think I'm prepared, but we'll see. I don't know.
All
right, so-
like
so
SAT.
listen.
I know.
Ashley, is it okay? Because this is your segment, right?
Mm-hmm.
Your idea. Is it okay for me to throw one little teaser out there?
No. No teasers.
That's right.
No teasers.
No teasers.
You did that. You did that when we were brainstorming, and he got it. So.
I'm weak.
We tried to do that. Brandon gave away a really good one the day that we teased the segment, and that was Belly. And Corey had no idea what Belly was.
Right.
That would have been a
Yeah, that was good
fantastic
teasing.
one to go ahead and put out there, and
Yeah.
you gave it away. So now you're banned from
Some
from
ideas.
And well, listen, I want to add this too. We actually got a special guest join us today too, so you definitely got
Very
to stay tuned.
special.
He's actually going to be joining us for, I guess, make fun of Corey Day. But I'm
It's What Does Corey Know Day.
I'm talking producer, entrepreneur, and media personality Van Lathan. So he's going to join the show a little bit later to talk about also Tory Lanez being sentenced to 10 years in prison for the shooting of Megan Thee Stallion. Y'all got like some little one-liners y'all want to drop before we move on?
I'll just be quick.
Yeah.
I feel like, social media yesterday was really like icky, more than normal. I think that, people tend to ride or die with their favorite artists, regardless, specifically black men stick together with black men, which they should, right or wrong. But I feel like to keep that same energy when recognizing exactly why he was sentenced to 10 years. He got his day in court. Yeah. He was found guilty. And if you're going to have that same protecting energy for black men, have that for black women. This is a black woman who was assaulted. Whether or not you want to agree with it or not, that's what the courts determined. Yep. And that's what he's paying the consequences for. And I saw a lot of free Tory yesterday. I saw a lot of, he didn't do it, this is ridiculous, 10 years. But I didn't see anything thing talking about Meg and how she may be feeling and her mental health and what her struggle with this entire situation. I think people are ignoring the fact that in the 3 years before this trial went down, he was tormenting her on social media. He was making jokes. You know, other male rappers were making jokes with him about something that happened to her that affected her in whatever way, shape, or form that it did. And it's just, it's unfortunate that women always, whether it happened, whether, you know, that women just tend to not be believed when things happen to them because their favorite artist or athlete or whoever may be involved. And I'm praying for her mental health because that's got to be tough.
Right. Yeah.
Listen, I'm excited you hit it on the head, Ashley. I agree with you there. 75% of the time I agree with you, but the 25% it get real spicy. But great job there. I'm excited to have this conversation with Van. Van is someone who is very protective of the culture. He holds nothing back. So having him chime in on the second block of the show, the second half of the show is going to be cool. We've seen him go head to head with Kanye West and really push back, right? Like people are afraid to have those type of conversations. We had this conversation yesterday, Ashley, like, look, I thought we were creating real authentic content, right? Like, is this what we doing? If we doing it, let's do it, right? So I think Van's going to bring that perspective. But here's what I would say. Quick little story. Got little Zozo. You seen last week. Had little Zozo all week with me last week. All my kids, my three babies, twins, 8 years old, and baby Zozo. He's 4 years old. So he's running around. He says the F word.
I wonder where he learned that from.
YouTube.
Okay.
Maybe a little music.
Okay.
Because, you know, I try not to shelter him, you know, that much. Like, it's like, yo, y'all here, we here now. So, like, let's have a conversation. So my kids are very aware and very mindful. So, boom, he's enjoying saying some curse words now. So he says the F word. And I can't say the F word right now because we're still 8 minutes within this show. And if you curse on YouTube within the first 8-9 minutes, I don't think you can monetize it. Okay, so I'm not going to say it right now. Got another minute. So he says, and I put him in timeout, Ashley. Okay. Put him in timeout. Now he's crying.
Like OG timeout, like corner timeout.
No, just sit on the floor, have nothing, just sit there for for a few minutes and think about what you say because you know you're not supposed to be saying it.
Okay.
He's crying, but he's a 4-year-old. We're not doing that right now. And you know what I say to him? I said, if you do the crime, you do the time. That's how I talk to him now. You curse. That's a crime here. You're gonna do the time. 5 minutes. So when you think about Tory Lanez, and you say all that to say this, you do the crime, you do the time. Like, it's 3-4 people in the car. You got a gun. Somebody gets shot. Now, you fumbled it, whatever. It's like accident. That's what happens. Yeah. And it sucks. Now you got 10 years of your life that you'll never get back. And your music is actually kind of dope. Now, we're not talking about the person because there's people on both ends. Like, do they vibe with him? Do they not vibe with him? He's an enigma. But like, bro, like it happened. And it's unfortunate that, people can make these decisions under the influence after 1 a.m. And this is what happens. Like what we say in ball, Corey, all the coaches always say, yo, nothing good happens after midnight.
After midnight.
My dad used to tell me that all the time.
I know.
Right.
But before we move on to our next topic, just to put a bow on this until Van comes on. And also, he got his day in court. He's not convicted in the eye of the public in terms of, what does social media think? And like social media thinks he's good. He got his chance like every American is allowed to. You are innocent until proven guilty. And he was proven guilty by a jury of his peers. And I don't know, it's weird to me that people still are like, oh, he didn't. He got his day in court and he lost. So, I mean, that's really all it comes down to. But we'll dive into it more when Van comes on.
Yeah. Can't wait to continue
sending love and light to Meg Thee Stallion because I know this is probably just, you would think that ending the situation would be better for her. It's probably only just begun. People are going to have their opinions and sending her positivity.
And then, Damn. I'll move on. I'll wait.
Yeah.
I'll wait.
Hold it. Hold it.
well, I mean,
Keep it in the
listen,
back of your
I'll hold
mind.
it.
We're
I'll
looking
hold
forward to having that conversation later. But some more conversations we're going to have. Commanders players, they're concerned with Eric Bieniemy's intensity. So we're going to talk about that. And then Klay Thompson admitted on Podcast P that his trash talk with Devin Booker last year backfired on him. But then we're going to also talk about what that kind of sparked between Devin Booker and Paul George. So stay tuned for that. But all right, news of the day. We're going to start with this. Caleb Plant, he gave an explanation as to why he slapped Jamal Charlo backstage of the Crawford and Spence weigh-in. If you guys remember, it had went viral, but Caleb Plant, slapped 5 to Jamal Charlo. But now we got the reasoning why he did that. Let's look at the video.
It was just me and old buddy. I mean, a man's got a right to, defend himself. Grown man touch another grown man in his face. Pulling on his beard real hard. And, I got the decency to tell you not to do that again. I don't spaz on you right there. I got enough decency to tell you not to do that again. And, the only thing you can reply with is how I'm a bitch-ass white boy. And look at him, y'all, getting shook just like a bitch-ass white boy would. And look at him, y'all, just like a white boy would, acting like a bitch. And then, you immediately grab my face again even harder. After I just asked you not to do that no more. I got my wife standing right behind me and I'm in a room full of my peers. I mean, what do? You making it real hard on a guy. You really putting his back on the wall. You start doing all that shit in front of in front of my wife and everybody in the room. I didn't ask you to quit fucking with me.
Now, I gotta say, I gained some respect for Caleb Plant. After
Absolutely.
watching this video.
I've actually interviewed, when I was at SI, I interviewed him, and he always struck me as a white guy with some flavor. If that
White
makes
chocolate,
sense.
just say white chocolate.
He kind of got a swag about him.
invited to
Where
the
is he?
cookout.
Is he from? Where's he from?
I searched it up yesterday. He's from Tennessee.
Yeah, he got
What part of Tennessee?
He
'Cause
got
that's a big
swag
deal.
about
Yeah,
him.
it is a big deal.
But,
Ashland City.
I don't know where that is.
I don't know where that is.
Yeah, can you see on the map? Pull up on the map, maybe what
Well,
cities
he had
his
on a
neighbors-
little hunting jersey.
Hunting thing. Yeah, but he got
But he got a lot of swagger. He's a
he got a
sneakerhead.
swag about him. But I feel like I only have this to say about this. I mean, I don't know. Maybe you guys can give me the man's perspective, but I kind of feel like if this didn't happen in front of his wife, then maybe he wouldn't have slapped him. But it's like you calling me out of my name in front of my wife, tugging on my beard. Now I gotta throw hands because it's like my lady's here. Like I'm not gonna be looking like a punk in front of her. I feel like if it would have happened behind closed doors, maybe it would have just been like an altercation, like verbal. I don't know if he would have hit him, or maybe not behind closed doors. But if his wife wasn't there, I feel like maybe it wouldn't have gotten to that point. But I just feel like the wife being there was no other option. Like I had to hit you now.
Right.
You know what I mean?
So Ashley, I do think that definitely plays a huge part, right? That's your lady.
Right.
You know what I mean? Your pride, there's a lot of ego.
Because I'm judging if I'm with you and a guy calls you out your name and tugging on your beard and you don't do anything. I'm
but at the same time, some things like this, you gotta look past because of the business, right?
Yeah.
And like he said, he did it once. That's a what is it? A finable offense right there.
Right.
Yeah.
You did it once,
but
but so what I think he's thinking about the first time he said what he said, he did what he did is like, yo, my hands are literally registered
weapons.
as weapons.
Yeah.
So I can't do this. I can be suspended. So he's making a business decision. Now you do it again and again. So now there's all types of things coming in your head. It's your wife, but it's also like your manhood. You know what I mean? And then also just principle, right? Like I'm still from the old school day where it's like, yo, we got to be law-abiding citizens, and violence isn't okay. Like I believe in that, but also like, if you try me, I got to protect myself.
Yeah.
Right. And I teach my kids that as well. Try to find a solution, but if you got to go there, you got to be prepared. Right. So y'all know that I'm like the Charlo brothers is like family to me. Really close. I've talked to him about this. I think it was a bad day. Some people say, because I wasn't there, I came the next day, that, bro had a couple drinks, right?
Who had a couple drinks?
Jamal.
Oh, okay.
So I think and then there's other conversation that there's a fight, in the works in October. So I feel like, that's real beef, and they're talking and it just went too far. And so I will say this. I'm always rolling with the Charlo brothers. That's family to me, right? And we have some real conversations offline, right? About how we need to grow as men and husbands and fathers, et cetera, like what we're aspiring to be. But bro, you was wrong here. Bro, you was wrong here. Ashley, he was wrong. You can't say that, and you can't pull another man's beard. And I didn't think this is what I believe. The last thing I would say, because Ashley always say I'm long-winded. I didn't think that Charlo thought it was gonna go here, because nobody tried them like that, because how they move and how they operate, this is real for them. And so it just like it snuck up on him, and he gotta respect it. And then now if they fight in October, whenever it is, he gotta get that respect back.
Listen, Ashley, I'll give you a short answer. He would have had me bent if he grabbed my beard. Women in front, women there, women not there.
Yeah.
Like Brandon said, that was a finable offense to grab a man beard.
Finable offense.
To grab a man
Touch
beard,
a man?
like Brandon said, you got to be expecting the worst. So I don't know. Yeah. So when I had heard this that he had grabbed it twice. I was on Caleb Plant's side.
I just feel like another level. I just felt like another level of like his ego was added because his wife was there. Like I feel like it was already like, why, like what? But now that his wife was there, it's just another level of disrespect for him. Like, you're gonna do that to me, man to man, but you're gonna do that in front of my wife. Yeah. Like, we're not. No.
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
You know what I mean?
Well, Brandon, what you doing if somebody grab your hat?
Take my hat. I'm doing what Floyd Mayweather did.
Yeah.
Listen, and the whole squad, go get him.
No, I tell you what, these Paul brothers, they doing it. Because look, Logan Paul is set to fight on October 14th in England against MMA fighter Dylan Dennis. So there wasn't the brother who snatched Floyd Mayweather's hat, but it's Logan Paul. And that was his last fight. His last fight was against Floyd Mayweather. He lost that fight. So he's going into this one 0-1 against Dylan Dennis, who's 2-0. Y'all watching this fight?
No.
So, Ashley, I'm not watching this fight.
No. Do y'all know who Dylan Dennis is?
Explain to us.
He is a poor example of an MMA fighter who is really, really good at his skill craft as far as jiu-jitsu, but he was never willing to come to the table. So many people have challenged him. He's never taken the bet. And, I mean, this to me is a joke.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, his 2 wins are by submission, and he's agreeing to a boxing match. So how are his hands?
Correct.
Is the question.
See, well, you guys are looking at it from a pure combat sports angle. I'm looking at it from an entertainment angle, right? And so I won't be watching it. It's not because, of the Jake Paul, Nate Diaz outing. I was entertained, but I really wanted to see Jake take the next step, and I wanted to see him knock him out. He should have knocked him out, right? I'm not watching this, Ashley, because, I like Jake. I like Jake Paul. I like his swagger. He's entertaining. I just don't find Logan is not my form of entertaining. It's like frat boy-ish. They're totally opposite.
I'm actually surprised Logan's boxing again, because I thought he walked away from that to pursue WWE full time.
He did.
Can't you do both though?
Most of the time you don't though. Like, once you're in the WWE space, like, you don't really see WWE wrestlers boxing. Like, he started in that space, I believe. He had like a couple of boxing matches.
Logan, right?
Logan. And then he pursued WWE full time, which again, like, he's very good at.
Right.
Like that, very good. Like, WWE.
So he's good at acting.
Was he the Maverick?
No, but even the stunts he does, his
Maverick,
athleticism within like, he's really, really good. Like, he jumps off the ropes into the tables. Like, it's just, but I was under the impression that he was pursuing that full time.
Right.
And like, WWE fanatics were very weary of him entering the space. They were like, oh, it's gonna, and then he even won them over because he's that good. So I'm confused he's boxing again. Like,
what?
I don't understand it.
I am like sitting here looking at Ashley and I'm smiling, laughing because she really knows this wrestling.
Wrestling
She does.
How do people not
Like,
know?
who
It's
watches
because
this?
modern wrestling. If
She's
it was
like,
just
what?
old school, it'd be cool. But it's
I don't know modern. I don't know modern wrestling like
This
I
is
know
crazy.
old school wrestling, but I do know because I have a lot of friends who, like, one of my good friends, Kaz, from New York, is like very big in the boxing, in the WWE space, and I follow him on Twitter, and he's always tweeting about it. He actually works with the WWE. And I remember there was this whole, when Logan first entered the space, a lot of fans were not buying his whole venture into it But he won them over. So I say all that to say, like, I'm confused why you would go into boxing when you're having such a high success in wrestling. That's all.
And I'm confused of why you know anything about wrestling.
Especially with the schedule of wrestling.
I don't think Brandon realizes how big the
crazy to me.
WWE is. Like, you think that like boxing matches are big, like like SummerSlam and things like that sell out SoFi Stadium. Like,
what is
I just remember it from back in the day.
WrestleMania like
They
sells
ain't get
out.
me when I was legit.
Sells
When I was
out
6 years
stadiums.
old, they couldn't get me to watch that.
No.
But I can't lie. There
Like,
was
there's
a time where I had to
diehard fanatics of that sport. They sell out football
bring back
stadiums,
Hulk.
Brandon.
If you bring back Hulk Hogan, I'm cool.
He's like 100 years old.
Okay,
I ain't
he
even
went way
watch.
back.
I ain't even watch The Rock. Like
What?
Stone Cold, Steve Austin.
How did you
When
not?
Bron-
You had to watch them both at the same time.
I really hope you were there for the John Cena era, at least.
No, absolutely
The
not.
John
He's
Cena-
the corniest.
I was out by
You said
then.
no?
He's the corniest.
Attitude
Oh,
era,
you said he's
and
the
that's
corniest?
it.
No, but you couldn't have watched Stone Cold without The Rock. They were in the same era.
Right.
Man,
No, that era was dope too,
Undertaker.
though.
Undertaker.
I thought John Cena was maybe the end of like the good era of wrestling. No? Come on, he
never
was an
watched John
entertainer.
He
Cena.
had,
I was
he
out.
had one of
You
the
can't see me,
dopest
like,
songs,
come
though, like the entrance
It was,
songs.
he
Yeah.
was on.
Jaden
dopest.
Lofton in the chat says, "Bro, wrestling isn't fake when you actually get hurt. I mean, you get hurt.
No,
in real
the
life.
injuries
Yeah,
are
you
real.
do get
The
hurt.
injuries are real.
Like
for
the
sure.
athleticism of those guys and women is very real. They're in incredible shape.
Right.
Like their conditioning, their workout regimes are insane. Like the
But you
hours
also
they
get
spend in
hurt.
the gym.
You also get hurt shooting movies.
Right, you know what I'm saying? It's the same
Well,
thing.
most of the
Like,
time you don't
think he
because
knows
you have
what
a
we
stunt
mean by
double.
it's
Those
fake.
guys are actually doing it themselves.
True.
No, listen, the storylines, yes, are manufactured, but the athleticism and the injuries are very real. Like they actually
takes
get
a
hurt.
great actor. Yeah.
Hey, you
Brandon
know-
Marshall
you know-
here, Ashley Nicole Moss, Corey in the cut, Woo out west, BC in the back, and who is Manderville? It's Trayvon Diggs FaceTiming me back. Can't take this right now, Trey. Look, guys, we're on Faction Talk Channel 103, Sirius XM. Actually, I gotta take this. I'm going to go.
Okay,
I'll
go
be
ahead.
right back.
Let's do it.
Hold on.
I'm sure he's not
Why
calling anymore. He hung
Hold on.
up.
I'll be back.
Telling me
Okay, so
looking
I'll
good out
hold it
there
down.
picking Dak Prescott.
Throw up the
Ow.
toolbox.
Well, here, moving on.
Yeah, you got some news for us, right?
I have some news, yes. Tampa Bay Mayor Jane Castor reeled in $1.1 million worth of cocaine
Crazy.
on a fishing trip in Key West. She was in the Florida Keys. Getting keys, apparently.
In the keys,
getting keys.
That's
She was in the Florida Keys with her family when her brother pointed out a black package floating in the water. It turned out to be 70 pounds of cocaina.
Sheesh.
Now, listen, the real interesting part here, and if you're a conspiracy theorist, you may say she knew where the bodies were. Castor spent 8 years in narcotics and 6 years as a police chief for the Tampa Bay Police Department. So there is theories that she knew exactly where this cocaine was, and she just happened to reel it in. But it's actually really interesting. I saw a documentary once. I don't remember the exact amount, but the amount of cocaine that has been undiscovered in the Florida Keys and the Miami area, like the South
the
Miami
Straits,
area
all
in
that,
general, they say is worth over, they say it is probably equivalent, I may be a little bit off on the number, but they say $500 million worth floating around in the water, like undiscovered.
Honestly, if you would have said $1 billion, I would have believed you.
Yeah.
I think maybe it's $1 billion.
I feel like that's what you were wanting to say.
Maybe $500 million to $1
I
billion
believe it,
range,
though.
but like that much cocaine is undiscovered, or drugs in general in Florida, specifically in the Florida Keys, from all of the drug trades that have failed and things that have happened where the police have actually discovered drug rings before they had a chance to pick up their supply or whatever the case may be. In Florida, it's actually insane. So you think about all the drug deals that went down in the 70s and the 80s when Miami was like the wild, wild west.
Yeah, right.
It's still out there
just
floating
still
around.
I mean, clearly these dudes are still active. Whoever the butterfly is,
Yo, for real.
They put in work. That's like something out the movies, right?
No, it's actually really interesting when you think about like all they called it the cocaine cowboys.
Cocaine
or stuff.
Cowboys.
But all of
Great
the
documentary.
all of the
Yeah.
undiscovered cocaine in Florida, just from that era of the 70s and 80s, is actually insane. Like there's so much that the police department has yet to discover.
It's in the
that
water?
it's just in the water, like
Oh, snap.
undiscovered, because like drug rings were blown up and discovered before they were able to get their supply, and
is
some
there
things
like a
didn't make it
finder's
to
fee? Like if we go out there right on a yacht and then we deep dive and we find it.
Why are you staticking in my ear?
Am I?
Is that you?
I don't know.
Oh, somebody was staticking in my ear. Okay, you're good.
That probably was me turning up the mic. Here's what I would say. Hopefully there's a finder's fee, Ashley.
What do you mean a finder's fee?
Because what you just said, there's so much undiscovered or found cocaine.
You want to go on a cocaine fishing expedition?
Yeah, hey, the price of a key might be $25 now, right? So you find, you know what I mean? That could be a nice little lick for somebody. So I say that hopefully there's a finder's fee, but this is fake. This is rigged. This is politics. There's no way she was out there fishing, Ashley, and found this. And then Corey, didn't you say earlier that she before she got to her position?
I read it. She spent 8 years in narcotics and 6 years as the police chief of the Tampa Bay Police Department.
Come on.
No, but the Tampa Bay Police Department has no bearing on the Florida Keys. The narcotics thing is a little suspect,
just like she's gearing up for some type of position in office.
Like, look what I did, you know?
Yeah, I found 70 pounds in the ocean.
Exactly.
Come on, Ashley, you know this. We're in the clout chasing era.
Someone said she had an Apple AirTag on the coat.
Oh my God.
Now, I ain't gonna lie, Brent. I kind of want to know what you and Trayvon Diggs was talking about, but we gonna move on. ESPN has reached an agreement with Penn Entertainment to launch ESPN Bet. I was gonna say I'll definitely be betting the over on Trayvon Diggs picks next year. I don't know, but
hey, we got a couple of them already.
Corey in his bag.
What are you up to? Like 5 now?
I might be in my
preseason?
bag today. I might be, but yeah. Hopefully they clear betting here in Florida. That's what they need to do. But anyways, y'all think ESPN Bet take over like this betting realm and be kind of like the top app? No.
I still think a FanDuel is like probably the most
universal,
prominent.
Prominent. I want to say trusted because that's all they've ever, like, for the longest time. That's all they've ever been was a sports book.
I see what you're saying.
I think FanDuel just kind of has monopolized the sports betting world. You obviously have like a DraftKings and you have other things that are, and then like tiers below that, but I still think FanDuel's king. I mean, even during Super Bowl, Brandon can attest to this. They have that huge festival that they do. That massive concert. Yep. They're doing one I just saw in Philly in a few weeks. Like, I just think FanDuel has monopolized the space outside of just what you can do on your phone. They've really ventured out and have done different branding and experiences for their fans and people who place bets with them, that it's expanded their reach. So even if you don't gamble, you know what FanDuel is.
Right.
Yeah. Hey, your question is, can they become the best? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah. Like, they're going to dominate. Are they going to dominate this space moving forward?
I agree with Ashley, but you also have to throw in DraftKings.
I say put DraftKings up there.
That's who's battling out right now. They have a stronghold on this space, but there is room for other players. Okay, Fanatics just got in the game. That's Michael Rubin. They just got in the game. They're still rolling out their product. That's right. They acquired PointsBet, and now that's going to be their official sports book. So I think that Fanatics, if anybody can do it, it's Fanatics. But when you look at BetMGM, and I know, I do like the experience, JP. I saw you in the chat. But when you look at BetMGM, WinBet, Caesars, Sportsbook, et cetera, all these other ones, like, they're struggling.
It's a little bougie, that's why.
But everybody's trying to find their niche, but they're struggling. It's almost like the whole digital landscape, Paramount Plus, HBO Plus, HBO Max, all like there's only one or two people that's really making money and everybody else is struggling. So if anybody could break through, I would say that it's Fanatics. But the ESPN, I would say this. I think ESPN is really in trouble. I love some of the talent that they still have on ESPN, but it's not cool. And I got to be honest here, right? Like, people want to hear us. And I'm saying this humbly, but like, I think we have an opportunity if we stick to it in a couple years where we might have 20,000 people, 30,000 people watching us live, right? I think what Pat McAfee has done, even, y'all know I always talk about him, Chase, Mace, and Cam, like, people want that type of stuff, right? The culture, how we dress, how we talk, real, authentic. Like, that's what they want. And I feel like ESPN is still traditional, and they're trying to figure it out. But like, I got to say this, and I hate calling names. Ashley, please tell me if this is too messy. But I watch everything. Okay. So this morning I'm watching First Take. Mad Dog is the face. No Stephen A. there. Like, Mad Dog, you're like, he's done. He's done. Like, Mad Dog is who y'all going with? Mad Dog? And he's on Sirius XM. I think he has a phenomenal audience and following in radio. And I salute to his career. But am I too messy?
No, I think it's a different audience. Mad Dog's from a different era. He's from New York sports radio, and that demographic is older. It's not as cool. Done. It's not as hip. It's not as current. It's a very, like, when I was a kid, that's who those guys ran New York sports radio.
We not watching that.
They were kids, but that demo's like not the same. I will say also, like, one of the things that rubbed me the wrong way. I don't know how you guys feel about it. I believe Penn Entertainment, isn't that owned by Barstool?
Yeah. No. So no. Penn Entertainment
aren't they
started off as they are a sports book.
Right.
Right. They acquired
Barstool. Right.
Okay, now
so ESPN
for like $650 million.
Right.
Completed that sale about 3 months ago.
Yeah.
All right. ESPN comes and acquire Penn for $2 billion.
So now they own Barstool?
No. So Dave Portnoy comes in and reacquires or acquires or buys back Barstool.
Okay.
But it is an interesting deal because if there's any type of exit, and I think all revenue moving forward, they still get 50% of it.
No, I don't.
Yeah, so it's a lot going on there.
Yeah.
But the last thing I would say to this is, Ashley, I'm 39. I'm gonna be too old in about 2-3 years.
I didn't realize 40 was old.
I'm just saying, like, the like
40 is the new 30. And 30 is the new 20. You guys didn't know that? 50 is the new 40. 60 is the new 50.
Nah. Age is a mindset.
I'm gonna tell you this right now.
Mariah Carey doesn't do
Ashley, I'm
age,
going
does
full
anniversaries.
Ashley, in 3 years, I'm going full executive mode. I'm gonna have my little one-on-one show. So y'all don't tell me, don't interrupt, you talking too much. I'm gonna have my one-on-one show, and I'm gonna fall back and be in the office. And I'm be watching. Look at Ashley. She killing it. Oh my God. She killing it. Look at my twin.
Well, speaking of women killing it, our last topic news of the day.
Absolutely.
For the first time in VMA history, the majority of nominees for the Artist of the Year are all women. Wow. So Taylor Swift, Beyonce, Nicki Minaj, Doja Cat, Shakira, and Karol G are the nominees. Look at that. I love to see that. Women are killing it. Women are running the music game right now. I would be one to say, first of all, Beyonce and Taylor Swift are on the biggest tours of the year. I'm very excited. I'm going to see Beyonce next week when she comes to Miami.
Who is that to the
Taylor
left?
Swift is being compared, her and her fandom is being compared to the Beatles. I mean, to the point where they have to develop overflow into the parking lot for fans who are not able to get tickets. Beyonce is offering $100 listening only tickets because of how many people want to see her in concert, meaning you can't see the stage, you can just hear her sing. Wow. It is a level of fandom that Rolling Stone said that they have not seen since like the Beatles or Michael Jackson, and it's two women who are leading the forefront. Absolutely love that. Shakira had one of the biggest songs of the year that was dedicated to her cheating ex. Shout out to Shakira. Karol G, huge in the Latin space. Nicki Minaj, queen of rap. Doja.
That's debate. This is debatable.
I mean, Nicki, listen, we can say a lot about Nicki Minaj.
Artist of the year?
Nicki Minaj is a pioneer in the rap game.
For sure.
But she also has...
Not a pioneer. She's not a pioneer.
No,
Foxy Brown.
Well, she's a pioneer for the rappers that came after her.
Kim K.
Yeah, Lil Kim. Yeah.
Lil Kim.
She's definitely Nicki Minaj is one of the most commercially successful female rapper.
But I wouldn't say that's a pioneer. I would say that she's a
time.
legend. I would say she's a legend.
She's also a pioneer, I feel like, of how
I would say
rappers...
Queen Latifah's a pioneer.
Yeah, because she might be too far removed from that generation of women.
No, but she's a different type of pioneer. I mean, Nicki Minaj started the whole trend of female rappers, and She had
like
a collection with
brands
Mac.
and stuff. Like,
She
yeah,
had a collection
you're right.
at Kmart.
Yeah,
She was
yeah.
doing beauty deals
Okay.
before any rapper
Okay.
ever. Like she was in
She
films.
pioneered the business side of like what women rappers are able
Yeah,
to
she
take advantage
changed
of.
what a modern female rapper looks
Yeah.
like. I mean, commercially, she's the most successful female rapper of all time. Like, she's a different type of pioneer than the women that came before her, but she's definitely a pioneer in the game.
Who was the first two? Can y'all throw that back up there? Who was the first two, Ashley?
Yeah,
So
I
that's
can't see
Doja
it.
Cat.
The first one is Doja Cat?
Yeah, with the braids, the cornrows.
She
is
be,
Doja
okay, she
Cat.
be switching up, but I like
And
it.
that's Karol G. She's a huge artist within Latin America.
Okay, dope.
Mm-hmm.
So look, this is big. You can throw it back up there. No one would need to see me. Give me a little. You throw it back up there. Look, I think it's gonna come down to Beyonce and Taylor.
honestly
Probably.
speaking, yeah.
Right,
sure.
like you know,
Or Shakira. I think she stands a chance.
Shakira.
She had a huge song.
I don't know. There's so much buzz around Beyonce and Taylor right now, especially even Taylor, because you know this matters too. Taylor, how much money has she donated, or not donated, or given to her team as bonuses? She's having so much success. It's like $50 million.
No, it was. I believe it was 10 million.
55 million.
Oh, 55. Oh, yeah,
55 million. Like, that's a big deal. You know, this is so off topic, but Shakira just moved close to like my neighborhood. I'm waiting to see her, run into her potentially. in the
You're
gym
gonna
or
have to
whatever.
fight Jimmy Butler for her.
No, I'm not saying that now. I'm not like whatever, but like it's just like it's like the talk of the neighborhood. Like, oh, she just moved here. It's like, okay,
that's
cool,
dope.
but
I love Shakira.
you love Shakira?
I've been a Shakira fan. Since I was,
Shakira,
since I was a little
Shakira.
girl.
Yeah.
I used to do
Ooh,
her
baby.
whenever, wherever dance when I was a little kid.
Corey,
shake my hips.
what's up?
Corey, I know Ashley said I can't do any teasers, but
No.
you know I'm always breaking the
No.
rules. Can you
What we
name
doing,
one? And this ain't real culture talk, but can you name one Shakira song or sing? It have any line?
Isn't that hits don't lie? Isn't there
There you go, Corey. That's good.
When you talk like that.
Yeah, well,
That came out in like 2006. Like, you should know that one.
Right,
That would
right,
go
right.
crazy. That's my childhood right
good.
there. But
No,
all
this is
right, we're gonna move on though, guys. I want to talk the Washington Commanders, right? So it was yesterday it came out that the Commanders players are concerned about Eric Bieniemy's intensity, and we've heard guys in the past and former players come out and say, you know, yeah, his coaching style is a little intense, but it comes with good intentions. We got Ron Rivera really speaking on the situation from yesterday. We're gonna watch that, and then we're actually gonna hear from Eric Bieniemy as well.
Going back to Bieniemy and his intensity, have players had to kind of adapt to that and have any, I guess, sort of struggled with that at times?
Yeah, I mean they have, and one of the biggest things is you know, and I had a number of guys come to me and I said, hey, just go talk to him. I said, understand what he's trying to get across to you, you know, and I think as they go and they talk and they listen to him, it's been enlightening for a lot of these guys. I mean, it's a whole different approach. You know, you get a different kind of player from the players back in the past. Especially in light of how things are coming out of college football. So a lot of these young guys, you know, they do struggle with certain things. And a lot of y'all's got to take for where they've been. I mean, guys coming from certain programs are used to it. Guys come from other programs aren't as much. So, you know, us as a coach, you know, I kind of have to assimilate and get a feel for everybody. You know, Eric has an approach, and it's the way he does things, and he's not going to change. And because he believes in it, Jack has his approach. You know, having been a head coach, I think Jack has a tendency to try and figure guys out a little bit more, as opposed to, hey, this is it, this is the way it's going to be, that type of stuff. Where Eric hasn't had that experience yet.
And just that when they came to you, it was just they felt like Eric was riding them too hard, or?
Well, they just were.
So, I mean, I like the message here, if I'm being honest. But we're going to listen to Eric Bieniemy and, you know, him justifying really his ways.
Hi. Have there been instances where players have, I guess, struggled to adapt to your coaching style and have come up to you and had a conversation about it?
And so before it even goes anywhere, I make it the point to address the conversation. Because one thing, my job is to be very observant. I got to know the people that I'm discussing and working with. So my job is to address. If there's something that they may have an issue with, please, let's discuss this. Here's the reason why I felt a certain way. Here's why I said it. Now, okay, I put it back on the player. And you got to understand, we're in a grown man's business. We're in a grown man's world. My job is to make sure that I'm doing the best possible job of over-communicating clarity. I take a tremendous amount of pride in that. They also know when I'm getting on them, ain't nothing personal. What's personal is that I want us to win. I expect that particular player to be great at all times. I expect the effort to be a standard that's accepted by all of us. So when you're not reaching that, it's my job to address it. So sometimes they may like the highlights and the praise, but sometimes they may not like it. And I'm perfectly fine with that, because that's my job. Because if I ain't doing my job, my ass get fired. So it's my job and my responsibility to make sure that I'm getting our guys to do what I expect them to do.
I tell you what, I love the energy. I like Eric Bieniemy. I will play for Eric Bieniemy if I'm being honest. I like the energy. I don't know what are you guys' thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I'll make it quick so Brandon can run with this. I'm confused as to what the issue is. I mean, it's not ballet, it's football. Like, I thought, football is a tough, rough, rugged sport. I mean, the players talk to each other. You heard how Trayvon was talking to Dak. Like, right. I mean, it's part of the appeal of football. It's part of the push of football, the culture of football. Like it's always been like that. When I was covering Pop Warner, you could hear coaches talking to 6-year-olds like that. Like it's always been that way. So I guess I'm confused why EB is getting such backlash from play. I mean, do they want him to constantly stroke their egos and talk to them sweet and gentle? And I don't get it. I always thought that football, especially in practices, is where you hear the craziest things. I mean, when we watched The Last Dance, Jordan was punching and cursing out teammates.
Yeah, right.
Like, so you could imagine that's the NBA. So like, I always thought that was the culture of football. I don't think he's disrespecting them, talking about their mamas and their wives. Right. But I think, a little bit, man, get your ass out there, stop playing. Like, I always thought that was part of the sport. So I'm confused. Brandon, maybe you can shed some light on it. I'm very confused.
No, both of you guys said two interesting things. One, Ashley, you're right, talking about that's the culture. Corey, I love what you said. It's like, you like this, you want to play for this guy. But let's look at this. Let's unpack it. The game has evolved. I saw someone in the chat that said this is the soft era of sports. If you want to call it that, you can call it that. Eric Bieniemy comes from what you're talking about, that type of culture. But this athlete today is more entitled. They come in with a different type of swagger, different type of energy. So the game is evolving. The culture is changing. Okay, like if you look at the league, it's going younger at the head coaching position. And it's going more relatable, right? And it's going more player friendly. Now look at the type of coaches that will fit in this Eric Bieniemy space lane. Mike Tomlin, y'all can help me out. Old school, right? Bill Belichick, old school. Yep. Pete Carroll is not even old school, and he's one of the oldest coaches in the league. He's more new school. He probably invented new school.
Did you say Mike McCarthy is old school?
No, McCarthy's
Sean
not.
Payton's old school.
Sean Payton's old school. That's 3. There's 32 teams, right? So I think if we really spend more time, we can probably get to 5, maybe 6, right? Todd Bowles is kind of old school, but he's really cool. But he'll look at you and say some stuff like this, and that's what it is. He comes from that Bill Parcells tree. Yep. Mike Vrabel is, I would say, is old school.
Agree with that. Yep.
Okay.
You know what? I watched Hard Knocks yesterday, and
I like Saleh.
Saleh's kind of old school. He has some old school tendencies about. He's like borderline.
Okay, I gotta watch it, so I can't confirm or deny that. But what I'm saying here is like
Bruce Arians.
Look, he has to win. Point blank. Period. Yeah. Right. If you take that approach today, you have to win, right? When you do that, you can do whatever you want. You can say whatever you want. Guys will follow. This is what happens when new regimes come in and players that have this mindset, they don't want to fully embrace it. You got guys that are saying, oh, it's too hard. No, this is what it's about, bro. Like this dude come in to win. Now, we're not there. We don't have all the information, but I agree with Eric Bieniemy and his approach. These are the type of coaches that I like playing for. And so I think the problem is when most coaches come in, what do? They gut the whole facility, right? New coaches, new players, et cetera, guys is going to adopt our mindset, right? I saw Josh McDaniels do it. Saw so many other coaches do it, right? Coach Trustman in Chicago, et cetera, right? And so that first year is tough because they're trying to establish the culture, right? And so that's what's happening here. And hopefully he gets the job done and he finds his way as a head coach, because if it implodes on him, he may not be in the NFL anymore. He may be at the college level, right?
Somebody said Andy Reid is borderline too.
I was thinking of him, but
see, Andy Reid is a player's coach, but Andy Reid keeps it real. That's like that's another that's borderline. That's a category. That's where Todd Bowles fit, because it's like they're black and white, but they're also cool. You can go up to him and say, "Yo, I'm having some struggles at the crib, right, Coach? I can't even come in today." Cool. I met the Coach Bowles one time. I was like, "Coach, I need a whole. This in camp, Ashley." I said, "Yo, this what's going on. I need a whole week."
Oh, God.
Go handle your business. Yeah. You feel me? Go handle your business. Say no more. Where Brandon at? Brandon be back. Brandon fine. Right? Yeah. Bill Parcells, the same thing. Bill Parcells called me. He's the one that got me to the Dolphins. But he was the president at the time. Man, he cut so many people off, cut so many people out, and we know the stories of Bill Parcells. But like, if he respected you, yo, come over here, take practice off, come get in my golf cart, let's talk. Let's talk about the market. I'm up $2 million today. Oh, the market kicked my ass today. I'm down $1 million. Yeah, you know. But anyways, I'm reminiscing the old days. This is what football players, retired football players and basketball players do. Remember the good old days?
Back in the day.
Back in my day.
Well, listen, there's no denying, right, that there needs to be change in the Commanders franchise. So, I mean, if they even want to compete in that difficult NFC East division. So we'll see. I mean, hopefully it pans out well for them. But moving on, there was some controversy yesterday surrounding Colin Cowherd, right, and his mentioning of actually a former Washington Commanders quarterback. We actually have a clip, basically, of the situation. We're going to throw to that and then give our thoughts on it when we come back.
And then the third category is 20 guys who are not getting to a Super Bowl and certainly not winning it. And that's everybody else. From Baker Mayfield, Teddy Bridgewater, Dwayne Haskins, guys that are just not that it says can win Super Bowls. It's can't win Super Bowls. Okay? So 6 stars, 4 high-end starters, and 20 guys that can't win a Super Bowl.
Yeah. So why this was controversial, of course, is because Dwayne Haskins unfortunately passed away in a motor accident. That was actually last year, April 9th, 2022. Were you guys rubbed the wrong way by this?
Yeah. I mean, look, Colin Cowherd's been in the game for a very long time. And this probably was a producer mess up. Even if you look at the headline of the list, it wasn't can. It should have said can't.
Typo.
So it was a typo. So whoever went ahead and did this list messed up on multiple of different angles. But here's the thing, like, there was a moment where he paused. So was the pause you realized that you said something that you shouldn't have and it registered? And if that's the case, why not apologize in real time? It's so important to just have a wherewithal of general information about people that you're talking about. You know, you try to always, if somebody just recently lost their mother, you don't mention their mother on air. You know, you don't do X, Y, and Z. Like, you're supposed to have a wherewithal of the subjects that you're referring to, the people that you're talking about. I don't understand how, as someone who covers the sport, you did not know or did not remember when you said his name that he's no longer here. And why, even if you didn't remember, why there was not a producer in your ear that said, Dwayne Haskins is no longer here, and why didn't you apologize in real time? It's sloppy, and that's why I say there's a difference between personalities. We were talking about this yesterday. There's a difference between personalities, and there's a difference between analysts. There's a difference between color commentators, and there's a difference between journalists. And it's evident that a lot of the people that you see on TV are not journalists, they're personalities, because a journalist 9 times out of 10 would not have made that mistake. So I hope that he apologized and corrected that mistake on today's show. I don't know if he did. I haven't seen any clips on the internet. Maybe Wu can look that up to see if that came out. But it's just, it was messy. It's just not cool.
Okay, before I respond to that, Ashley, what bucket am I? Am I new age journalist?
No, your
or
personality.
I'm a personality? A little bit more. Can you give me a little bit more sauce?
You're an analyst personality.
Okay. Here's what I would say. It was a huge mess up. Very unprofessional. And so hopefully today he comes out and apologizes like you said. I also will say this. Ashley, I believe that, people like himself, the Oprahs of the world, the Drew Barrymores of the world, the Ellen DeGenereses of the world, et cetera, Stephen A. Smiths, Skip Bayless, et cetera. When you do it for a long time, you make mistakes.
Of course.
Right? These things happen. I think that we're going to be in a situation, we may be in a situation if we're fortunate to do this long enough, right? Well, I'm going to be out the game at 42. But if you're still doing this, you're Barbara Walters, and you sitting here at 90 and Ashley still interviewing people, I would say that you're probably going to be in a predicament, right? So this is part of the business, but this was a huge, huge mistake, a colossal mistake. Dwayne Haskins isn't here, right?
And he died tragically.
Right. So this is bad, but you know that I'm a huge Colin Cowherd fan, so I want everybody to know that.
One of my best friends works for him. Liv works for the Volume Network.
I love Colin Cowherd. I think he's a stand-up guy. He's one of the few traditionalists, I would say, that I actually follow and take some game from. Like as an athlete, we sit back and we're inspired by the guys that came before me. Like I was watching film on Larry Fitzgerald. I was watching film on Anquan Bolden and Ocho Cinco, Steve Smith, et cetera, right? Calvin Johnsons of the world. You get inspired by other people. So in the same space, I have a list of people that inspire me. Colin Cowherd's at the top of that list. One of the reasons why I communicate the way I communicate is because of Colin Cowherd. Because what I appreciate about Colin Cowherd is that there's substance there. It's not just quick sound bites. He takes a topic and he breaks it down. He takes layers. So a lot of times it's hard to kind of follow certain things, but I like to have deep, in-depth conversations.
And also, it's not about being perfect and not about making and not making mistakes, but I think it's important to apologize in real time. And he had a moment there to correct himself and say, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry. Like, rest in peace, Dwayne Haskins." It seemed like the moment was there and he didn't take it. And I think that's what's a little bit unsettling. It was like the moment was there. The window was there. The pause was there. And he didn't take it. And JP just told me that he hasn't apologized yet. Colin Cowherd's show did air already. There was no apology.
It aired?
His Today's Show already aired.
Started and finished?
Is it done?
I believe so. It's done. Yeah, it's over.
And he hasn't apologized?
No apology yet.
Colin.
So that's a little unsettling, or a lot of unsettling. And quick story, I'll tell you, when I was on radio.
Don't do me like this, Colin.
Before I transitioned to sports radio, I was on. I covered a hip hop station down here in Florida. I used to do music, and not me do music. I was a DJ. I was a jockey, if you will. But Megan Thee Stallion was coming to be interviewed, and the day before. It was a Mother's Day situation. The day before, she was at a radio station, and her mom had passed maybe a week or two before she did that interview. And that the radio station she was at previously asked her about her mother and said, how are you and your mom planning on spending, Mother's Day? And she had just lost her mother. And because of that situation, she only performed for it was like an unplugged type thing, but she refused to do an interview with my radio station that I was working at because her trust for the people to do their homework was gone, because this woman had just lost her mother, and you're going to ask her how they're going to be spending Mother's Day weekend together. Wow. So it's things like that you have to be so aware of when you are interviewing people. That's right. Especially when it's something that is a tragic situation like a death. You cannot not do your homework. You cannot have all of your senses and your flaggers and your alerts on. It's so important. People remember those things, and it comes across insensitive, and it comes across that you don't do your homework. And I say all the time on this show, when you have a mic in front of your face and you have a platform and you have a camera on you, your level of responsibility is different than somebody on Twitter. Your level of responsibility to approach stories from the kindest place possible while still doing your job, your level of responsibility to watch your words and how you use them is different. And people need to start really harnessing that responsibility and stop making it just about engagements and clicks. These are people.
So let me ask you this question then, and this is off topic. And I wanted to put this in the show today. Yesterday we brought on Dr. Chow to talk about some of the injuries around the league. Last night couldn't sleep. I actually slept here last night. Boom. Pulled out the sleep number bed. It's like couldn't find my
You have a sleep number bed here?
Yeah, because like I have a sleep number bed here, right over
with
there.
like a headboard and everything?
No, just a mattress, 2 pillows.
That's an expensive bed to not have in a bed frame, but okay.
Yeah, because like, we're going to create some stuff, do some stuff, whatever.
Okay, cool, got it.
So boom, sleeping here. Couldn't sleep. I'm on Twitter, 11:30, 12 o'clock, midnight, maybe even 1 o'clock. I see Jalen Ramsey quote tweet us. Had Dr. Chow on. Dr. Chow says, look, I've been in the league 17 years, blah, 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 blah. Here's how I feel. This is what I think. A professional recommendation. He gets in his feelings and he's like, yo, I just let a few things slide, but y'all just talking just to hear yourselves talk. Y'all don't even know what y'all talking about. So, in that situation, like, what did we do wrong there? Like, what did Dr. Chow say wrong? You know what I'm saying? What did I say something? Did you say something, Corey? Like, what happened?
No.
You know what I'm saying? So
I think whenever you're in Brandon, and Corey, I don't know if you've ever had you had a major injury. What am I talking about?
Literally, going through one right now.
Obviously you weren't playing when it happened, but I think whenever you start to talk about injuries and you talk about someone's ability to play the game that they love and to compete. And when we talk about Jalen Ramsey, you're talking about the ultimate competitor. He eats, sleeps, breathes football. He goes out there and he competes. I think that you already are dealing with that of not being in a position to go out there and compete until your body is ready to heal.
Right.
And I think you are in a space, and Brandon, you've had injuries where you are trying to mentally prepare yourself for the journey and mentally prepare yourself to be back quicker than what they're expecting of you.
Right.
People are already doubting you'll come back. People are doubting that your team's going to go ahead and be, able to win because you're not there and all of those things. So I think that it's not so much about y'all, but I think it's more about the fact that you have people who don't know, doctors who don't know your situation.
he was in the league for 17 years. This is the same doctor.
But he's not his doctor.
But this is the same doctor. If he was drafted by the San Diego Chargers, this would have been the same doctor that would give him the prognosis.
But it's not.
And the diagnosis.
But it's not his doctor.
But it's a doctor. The meniscus is a meniscus. An ACL is an ACL. Yeah. All those things. I hear you there.
Right.
But like the case study's there. How long does it take to recover from an Achilles? How long does it take to recover from an ACL? Some guys do, break the mold and come back a little sooner. Some guys take even longer. We know that.
Right.
But like,
but you are always talking about the will of an athlete.
Yeah.
And you're always talking about the will of an athlete. And Jalen is somebody who doesn't care what the timetable is, doesn't care what this doctor says, what that doctor says. He talks about it all the time. The only person that he worries about is the man above, and he's going to figure out a way to get back to the Miami Dolphins quicker than everyone's anticipating him to do it and compete. So I don't know if it was necessarily that doctor thing. That just happened to be the doctor that was speaking on his situation that day. But he's probably very sensitive and protective.
Sensitive have no place in sports. And y'all know I don't do this. I'm sorry. I hear you, Ashley. But we even had this conversation offline yesterday. But it's the second time, Buddy has said something. Right?
Dr.
And
Chow?
Jalen.
Oh.
Right? Because I'm very protective of the platform. And I'm very strategic on how I talk about the athletes. Why? Because I Am Athlete, like the goal is for I Am Athlete be the destination where our guys come to us first. Mm-hmm. Right? So I'm very aware of that. But like, when you say shut up, I didn't let a couple things slide. What he's talking about is Asante Samuel's coming on the show and he's like, I don't think he's great. And then you see my reaction. I'm like, yo, how can you say that, Asante Samuels? But then you get mad at me. So I didn't let a couple things slide, but y'all have no clue what's going on. Just talking to hear yourselves talk. Who? Who you talking to? Dr. Chow, or you talking to me? Tag me, at me, so I know what we talking about. Last I checked, I serve the one and only God who dictates everything. I agree. We talked about that when Dr. Chow was on. When Dr. Chow said what he said, I said, well, we've seen this time and time again where athletes defy the odds and come back sooner, right? So, like, you know, I never really lean into this, but, like, I'm sitting here watching this because I'm like, I'm trying to be friend to all, but I don't think that's possible. You know, you got, and I think we may talk about this later, you got Paul George going at it with Devin Booker, et cetera, et cetera. So you seeing that happen. So maybe this idea that I have that all athletes is going to be happy with the platform is not even a reality, right? Like, maybe, like, we got to have some of these conversations. So yeah, the majority might rock with I Am Athlete, but there might be a few to be sensitive. But I'm sorry, like, bruh, like, what are we supposed to do? Like, y'all saw what I said. Mm-hmm. My response to that was, you know, so how are we supposed to talk about the NFL's biggest stars? Right? Or should we not talk at all? Like, you don't want nobody to say your name? Like, come on, bro. I'm sorry. I never really do this, but you're not going to keep atting the platform at me. Yeah. At me. Yeah. Like, I don't know if they think it's sweet or whatnot, but, like, nah, bro, you're not going to keep doing that. You a king. I think you a dog. 6-time Pro Bowler. 3-time All-Pro. You know, I don't know if you was Rookie of the Year, but you was up for Rookie of the Year, maybe all-rookie team. So many different Super Bowl champion. I like your swagger. I wouldn't say I love how you dress, but I really like how you dress. I would put you probably in my top 15 in football, maybe top 12. You know what I'm saying? But respect it. Like, there's a fraternity. So, boom. Wanted to get that off my chest. Wanted to say that. You know, it is what it is. But, you know, we talking about journalism and, you know, the right approach to this and that. But, like, dog, like, I thought it was a great conversation. You know, we had his back. Everything we've said was been good. Everything I've ever said has been good. Don't get sensitive.
And, you know, I want to add to that, of course, because, like, you know, we said this offline. We went into it with optimism, right? We even prefaced the question with, hey, listen, we want good news, or at least I did, right? Because I'm a Dolphins fan. So, Jalen, you know, let's get this ring. Of course, let's defy the odds. Like Brandon said, let's defy the odds. Let's get this ring. Fins up. You know what I'm saying? But, hey, I think we have our guest joining the show now. As I mentioned,
up.
He's here. The guy.
Let me put my earpiece.
The man himself is here. So as I referred to at the top of the show, we have producer, media personality, entrepreneur. I mean, there's plenty of things I can use to describe him. Yeah. And this guy, you'll know him as soon as he pops onto the screen. I'm talking about Van Lathan.
Yeah.
There he is. What's up, boss? Welcome to the show.
Hey, real quick, we know you from down south, the deep South Louisiana. We see it in the back, but did you just put this set together because you was coming on I Am Athlete and Paper Route, or is this really your set?
You talking about what's behind me?
Yeah, you got basketballs and
helmet. No. I got my LSU helmet up there, and then I got my different basketballs back there. See, I really get in. I got the training basketballs back there, the weighted joints, and then I got the NBA ball and I got the college ball. Depending on where I'm playing, I got to have the right tool to do my thing. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Well, this is going to be exciting. First of all, BC, we got a 4-box today.
Yeah. Oh, they put him over the 12-box.
I'm just making sure we got a 4-box.
Tell Van.
Yesterday, we had a doctor on the show, and we only had a 3-box. But last time I checked, there's 3 people in the studio and 1 remote. That's 4 total. So I'm just making sure we all 4 are on camera today.
No. Tell him what happened, Van. We had almost a moment like you had on TMZ with Kanye West, right? One of the most legendary moments. Tell Van, be honest with him.
Oh, okay. So they're interviewing the doctor because it's only a 3-box, and I can't get a word in edgewise because there's only 3 of them on camera. And Corey then, when the segment is over, the interview is over, Corey asked me a question. So I came out and said, I can talk now because I wasn't sure because y'all went ahead and like X-nayed me from the conversation. But we back. We got a 4-box today. Very excited. So we
just before we get into it, this show is anti-black women, is what y'all telling me right now.
No, absolutely not.
Yo, Van, listen. But then we asked BC because I felt like Ashley was, directing her energy towards me. So I got a little unprofessional, and I'm like, so Ashley, you gonna do this live? I said, that's unprofessional. But Ashley, she gonna stay in her mode, and she gonna keep pushing forward. And then after the show, I'm like, BC, what happened? And he said, well, I wanted the fellas to take this conversation. So I don't know if it's the platform, but BC got some.
So they're anti-black women and they're misogynists. So just put that out there.
A little misogyny war going on.
Right.
Here we go.
We all got room to grow. We gotta grow. It was a growing moment that y'all had.
Yes, right.
So very excited to have you on. Obviously, we're gonna talk about, let Corey tee it up. We're gonna talk Tory Lanez. We'll discuss some of the Paul George, Devin Booker beef. And then lastly, we have a little segment we're going to play. What does Corey know? Because Corey, at 27, is that how you...
I'm 27 years old.
27 years old, does not know a thing about anything. So we're going to test his
Culture-related.
Culturally.
Basically, what they want to do is age themselves. Man.
He ain't know, Van. He didn't know what belly was.
He didn't know what belly was.
Right.
That's crazy.
Yo, see that reaction, Corey? For this, yo. They all on me for this. Yo, Van. Van, what I can say, though, is when I Googled it and saw the cast and everybody was in it, I was like, oh, yeah, I know this, of course. But I couldn't name it off the top of my head. It was bad.
Let's pop things off, Corey. What you got?
Well, Van, listen, we really wanted you on because, the news released yesterday that Tory Lanez has been sentenced to 10 years in prison for the 2020 shooting of Meg Thee Stallion. I mean, Ashley has shared her thoughts on the situation briefly, and I'm going to ask these two, of course, after we get your thoughts on the situation, how they feel. But yeah, man, I mean, just off the top of the head, what can you say with this situation here?
Yeah, I mean, there's not a lot of mysticism to it, right? There was an incident that happened in 2020. When that incident happened, after that, there was a search for the truth. Now, on social media and various places where people discuss things, they made up their minds what that truth was, who to believe, why to believe it, and battle lines, like anything else, were, I would guess they were drawn over that. But when you look at it, there's not a lot to the story other than what actually happened. And now we know what happened. What happened was a group of people went out, things went too far, someone decided to pull a gun, G-U-N. I'm not talking about a super soaker. I'm not talking about a BB gun. I'm not talking about a gun, and shoot it at another human being, and that human being got shot. That is assault with a firearm, and you're going to jail. Now, we can make this about a lot of other things than that. We can make this about a black woman, black male divide. We can make this about Canada versus the United States. We can make this about who was sleeping with whom. We can make it about whatever our biases want us to make it about. But what it's really about is somebody shot somebody, and now they're going to jail. Happens every day, y'all.
Right. I mean, it was very interesting, too, because even, up until the sentencing, Tory, had his final words that he said. And some will say he indirectly admitted that something did happen. He said, this was my friend. And, we bonded over the loss of our mothers together. And we used to drink together. And, if you read between the lines, it sounded almost like he was admitting that he had some part in something that went down. But neither here nor there. He did have his day in court. He was found guilty, and that's what happens. But I think looking at it in a future perspective, Meg Thee Stallion obviously is going to always have this attached to her name in the eyes of Tory Lanez fans, in the eyes of people who don't really believe in protecting women, and women are not telling the truth. And I wonder, how do you think she's going to be able to overcome what will always follow her in the eyes of some people, that she sent Tory Lanez, an innocent male, to jail?
She just really can't be concerned about it. It's tough. It's hard. It's hard that's going to be the perception. But there are a lot of perceptions out there that are hard. It's hard that the perception is that women are lying whenever they report something. It's hard, the perception that black people are complaining about racism that doesn't exist. Women are complaining about misogyny that doesn't exist. It's hard. Things are hard. Like, we're having conversations and we're not having them with very much actual or emotional intelligence. That makes things difficult. But she can't do anything other than live her life. If you're paying attention to this and you're actually keeping score, this did not have to happen to Tory Lanez. And when I say that, I mean 10 years in jail. There was a way that Tory Lanez could have gone about this that would have made this entire situation different, in my opinion. What happened is the narrative online, the putrid, toxic narrative, he internalized that. And he went about this entire situation in an unapologetic, brazen way. He chose these ladies be lying over, I drank too much. I was not trying to hurt anyone. I am sorry, and I will learn and do whatever. He chose those things. He chose she lying, they crazy, and all of that. So really, more than anything, the internet persona and the toxicity around this made him jump into the lava. And that's on him. That ain't got nothing to do with her. As a matter of fact, when this first came out, she did what a lot of women do in this situation, which was try to protect him and not go as hard as what she could have gone after somebody shot her in her foot. If y'all want to take a lesson, and when I say this, I'm talking to all the young brothers out there, take the lesson that accountability is not a 4-letter word. Like, it's not. Like, there's a way to go about the world with a full and open heart, and then there's a way to make yourself into a demon that people just want to see locked in a cage.
Van, go back. What does that mean? Hold on. What does that mean? Accountability is not a 4-letter word. It kind of went over my head.
What I mean is that, like, it's not saying I'm sorry or saying I messed up or saying, hey, this night, and I'm not saying that he wasn't being violent or aggressive or anything like that. What I'm saying is, if the situation is we were out drinking, things went too far, I grabbed a gun, I lost control, there's nothing wrong with, like, owning up to that. There's nothing wrong with saying, hey, I'm not someone who was trying to hurt my friend. I did something stupid. You still got to take your medicine. You still got to take your medicine after that. I'm not saying that you don't have to at all, but I'm saying it's different. The judge in this case said that Tory's actions after this, the songs and all of how he was acting on social media, that it factored into the sentencing here. He showed no remorse. He acted like he was above her pain, and he wasn't. So what I'm saying is, man, it's not always about war. Sometimes it's about coming into things with an open heart and saying, I wasn't at my best.
Hold on, Marin, real quick. Before we move on from this part, I want to ask you on the topic of accountability. It wasn't just Tory who was making light of the situation. You had other artists. You know, Drake mentioned it in a song. You had, I believe, The Baby. So how do you think that the rappers who, in the interim between this incident and the trial, who made light of the situation, what do you think the accountability on their end will be, if at all?
Don't leave out LeBron James.
Ooh.
Oh, I didn't realize. I didn't realize LeBron was one.
Wow. I didn't either.
So when I say this is not to in any way throw stones at any of these guys. LeBron didn't say that Tory Lanez was innocent, but he said, I'm bumping that new Tory Lanez. You know what I mean? And he put that on his Twitter. And let me say something. The accusation that you shot a woman in her foot should at least be either he said that or he was listening to Tory Lanez. I think it might have been he posted a video of him listening to Tory Lanez. The accusation is so serious that at least to me, from a guy who I respect a tremendous amount in LeBron James, that at least to me merits a moratorium on advertising this guy until we know what happened.
Right.
I'm not saying that everybody had to stop listening, but I'm saying at least until we know what happened, I think that at least merits pausing on it, right?
Right.
What I would say to all of those guys is they failed. I mean, they failed. I mean, that's it. They failed.
Right.
Whether or not there'll be any accountability for them is one thing. Whether or not there'll ever be a serious enough interview with Drake, well, he'll have to answer that question. Or whether or not anybody will ever be able to track LeBron James down. I mean, LeBron James's family right now is going through a lot, so I would understand if people don't take this opportunity to kick him in his balls. But we have to do better. And it's okay to say, hey, I like these guys, the music that they make, but in this moment they didn't meet that moment.
So Van, appreciate you coming on, man, and true legend, a gatekeeper of the culture, and that's why we wanted to have you on, and there wasn't anyone better that we could have this conversation with, and that's what Paper Route is. We live in the intersection between sports and hip hop, which really is the center of culture. So we have these conversations, and so I appreciate you there. There's a lot here, right? I feel like there's a lot to learn. And some of the things is, and like we live in this age now where everybody want to throw their opinion and shit that they really don't have all the information to. So like even when we're talking about Drake, LeBron, all these other guys, sometimes you need to sit on the sideline and let, all the things to come out before you give your opinion, right? Even in sports too, like I hate that sometimes when, it's like public opinion always wins. You did this, you made this mistake, or allegedly, now we gotta suspend you, now we gotta do things, and it's like, no, let this play out a little bit. So I think there's that we can learn, and then also it's like, man, we gotta do better of how we go out, how we party. Like I'm not giving him any breaks, I'm not trying to make any excuses for him, but Van, my coaches used to always tell us, stand in front of the room, is like nothing good happens after 12, after midnight, right? And look, I don't subscribe that you can't go out, but it's how you go out. When there's drugs and there's alcohol involved, like you do dumb shit. And like, think about this. This is a totally different topic, but how many of us been in situations where like, man, like we made it, it could have been us, whether driving drunk, situations like this, very volatile situations. So it's like, we got to do better. We got to continue to learn from each other. It's called divine mentorship. You don't have to go through something to learn from it. I've certainly made my share of mistakes, right? And I'm still growing. But, we got to have these conversations, and it shouldn't be, let's just throw our opinions in this, but like, what can we learn from this? What can we take from this? I want to ask this question, and I want to push the conversation forward. In our culture, we have this thing where it's like we can't snitch, right? I feel like that's part of it too, Ashley, when you talk about, the system failing or, men failing. But in this culture of hip hop, right, it's like street culture almost. And so I felt like there was people that took, the other side, because it was like, why did she say anything? She shouldn't have said anything. Van, when you hear that, like what comes to mind for you? How do you feel about that?
So it's layered. It's layered. Okay. Because number one, let's come to terms with something. We don't really know what snitching is now. The definition has changed. It used to be the police ask you something, you say something, you snitch. Now it really depends on how much people like you, whether or not you snitched or not. Nah, my man didn't snitch, bro. It was after 6 o'clock on Friday, and that them just non-snitching hours. You know what I'm saying? Like it's that whole thing is done. That code of sort of intra-community omerta, I understand why it exists. Number one, it exists because of our proximity to the police, how over-policed we are, and the fact that we don't trust the police. The police, where I'm from at least, let me speak to that, we don't feel like they're down there to make a positive impact on the neighborhood. We feel like they're down there to put people in jail. And we really don't think about the victims of crime as much as we think about the victims of the police. Like my father, one time, I've told this story before, one time I was asleep on the couch, guy bams on the door, boom, boom, boom. So, yo, man, like, call the police. Some dudes chasing me, some guys behind me. And I'm getting ready to get up and answer the door. My dad goes, sit down. So he goes in, he answers the door. He goes, we ain't gonna call the cops. Go around the corner to the Circle K and call the police on the phone. And the guy goes, I ain't gonna call no fucking police from the Circle K, man. I ain't going around there. I told you somebody after me, man. Call the police. My dad went, look, and he brought out the shotgun.
Oh
Get
my
off my
God.
porch. Get off my porch. We ain't bringing the police around here. Number one, we called them over here. Now we the house that then told the police on you. Now my kids, it's just not a thing, right? So I get that. I understand that. I also always was under the impression that in order for that to be a thing, then it had to be a criminal situation that you were taking part in. Meaning, if you are not a criminal, if you are not in the game, however you want to say it, if you're not a part of the street life, if you're not, and someone commits a crime against you, then yeah, it's okay to call the police. If someone kidnaps a family member, if someone beats you up, if someone steals from your home, there's nothing wrong with calling the cops. Meg is a hip hop artist, but that sister is a college graduate who I never heard about flipping no birds or what they was doing in Belly that my man never saw.
Yeah.
I never heard of her being involved in anything like that. She's a woman that was the victim of violence. She needs to let somebody know. So all of that's out the window to me. I understand that people don't want to talk to the police, and I get why, but that's not applicable here.
Just know, if someone, God forbid, shoots me in the foot, I'm singing like a canary.
Somebody did shoot you in the foot. She been wearing this boot.
That's not even funny, Brandon.
Okay, sorry. Show me your foot.
I didn't get shot in the foot. That is not funny. I'm not gonna put my foot up. That's not funny. But just know, if someone shoots me in the foot, I am singing like a canary.
I'm with you. I'm with you.
No free foot content.
Hey, Van, real quick. Sorry, I tend to get off topic here. Ashley knows this. Corey knows this. Our
you
chat
got 60
knows
seconds.
this.
Get
I got
out.
60 seconds, and you got 45 seconds and 60 seconds to answer this. Okay.
I got you.
I'm struggling here while we talking about street culture, music, snitching, all of that. Bruh, have you listened to Gunna's album? I think it's the album of the year, but it's like a very complex situation because did he snitch or did he not snitch? Walk me through it. I'm struggling.
He snitched, and I don't care. I'm 43. I need something to work out in the gym, man. That's for them to deal with. Whatever happens. I don't care. I wish nothing but the best for Gunna. And the guys where I'm from, you can't do that. I wish nothing but the best from Gunna. I listen to it. I'm gonna listen to it again after this. It's rolling.
I'm trying to tell you.
All right. Ashley, like I said, I got 10 more seconds.
No, you don't.
Yeah.
We gotta switch gears. We gotta switch. Go ahead, Corey.
All right. Well, listen. This topic isn't as controversial, but it definitely had the TL all riled up yesterday. Klay Thompson. He was a guest on Podcast P. That's Paul George's podcast, and he admitted that trash talking kind of backfired against him when he played Devin Booker and the Suns last year. We got that clip. Let's take a look at that real quick.
You low-key a trash talker.
Yeah.
What's the favorite bar you dropped on someone in the league? I know Book, you gave him the...
Yeah, I was in my feelings, though. And Book was
time.
busting my that day. I was not where I needed to be. God. You know, stuff doesn't age well. That didn't age well for me. Like, I don't need to be flexing 4 rings, bro. Like, everybody know that. That's on Wikipedia. My game wasn't where it was at, and we all get insecure at times. I'm man enough to admit that we all have our moments of weakness. So I'm not really proud of that one. Because I see Devin Booker, and I should be like, man, I should be proud of this young man.
Yeah.
Like, the work he's put in. He survived a tough regime in Phoenix where everyone's getting traded. He's playing for a new coach every year, but now he's a franchise player because he just kept working. So I admire the guys who have work ethic like that, you know?
She then responded to this. It was saying like, yo, Paul George, is that the answer you was looking for? He felt like he was kind of instigating something with throwing out that reference there. But yeah, then Paul George ended up responding to Devin Booker. And we got that video too. Let's take a look at that real quick and come right back.
My thoughts on Booker's comments. I mean, he didn't really say... My thoughts on Booker's comments. I mean, he didn't really say nothing other than is that what you wanted to hear? I don't really care. That's Clay's answer. You know what I mean? That's Clay's answer. I asked a question, Clay gave his response. That's Clay's answer. I don't know what that was supposed to mean. Sorry ass response, but I don't know what that was supposed to mean.
No, go to Corey. Corey's doing it.
Oh, my bad.
Ashley, do we have real beef here between Devin Booker and Paul George?
Well, they don't like each other. That's not something that's new.
Okay.
There's been instances between them roughing each other up in games and shoving each other and things like that. There's a beef between the two of them. There always has been. But I mean, if you watch the clip of him talking to Clay, I can see why Devin's upset, but I think he's also being a little sensitive. Now, Paul George was kind of baiting him.
No sensitivity in sports.
Paul George was kind of baiting him to mention Devin Booker, but then on the other side of that, Clay's most memorable trash talking incident is with Devin Booker. Like, Clay's not a notorious trash talker. Like, he doesn't have like a whole list of people that he's gotten into like trash talking debates with that you can like pluck from. His most memorable is the 4 rings against Devin Booker. So like, I can see how maybe D-Book thought that Paul George was baiting him, but I think that really Paul George was just pulling his most memorable moment. But they don't like each other, so this is just like, you know, going tit for tat. Like, they'll be all right.
Ashley, can you get me caught up? So walk me through the situation. So they were playing the game. He threw up. Devin Booker won.
Klay Thompson, Devin Booker was whooping Clay's ass. He was cooking him.
And they were up by like 20 at this point,
like 25.
The Suns are winning.
The Suns are winning. No, but Devin Booker specifically is cooking Clay.
Right.
Like, has him in a torture chamber. So he starts trash talking. He's feeling himself a little. And Clay, all he got is he's like, yeah, but I got 4 rings. I got 4 rings. I got 4 rings. And Devin Booker's like, all right, but I'm cooking you tonight. So what's up? So he got in his feelings a little bit or whatever. That's what it comes down to. It's just trash talk. It's not that deep. So, it's the basketball season to come back. These guys got too much time on their hands.
So Van, let me ask you this question: is this fair or foul? Right? Did Clay go too far? You know what I'm saying? Or this is good. Man, this is inbounds.
First of all, I don't mean to offend nobody on the podcast because I see a couple of them on here, but this is the most light-skinned shit.
Corey, that's
who you talking about, man?
That's you and me, Corey.
I know it's a strong fraternity and sorority that get together, but bro, this is some shaman baby soft ass shit.
They calling it beige rage.
Not beige rage. That's actually crazy.
First of all, I think Clay's most notorious trash talk is against Jaren Jackson. Remember after they eliminated them out of the playoffs?
That was good.
That was good too.
Yeah,
but I understand that people think it's the 4 rings. Okay. First of all, people don't like Paul George. Nobody really likes Paul George like that. Paul George is a fantastic podcaster, and I'm so happy
doing a great job.
Doing so well because it lets you see that a lot of hate that he gets is probably misguided or misdirected. But Clay said something nice. Clay is an elder statesman in the league, a really accomplished player. Devin Booker spiked, rather than be magnanimous and say, yo, Clay, appreciate it, bro. Cool. We can switch Kardashians another time.
Oh, my God.
I love bro, he didn't use that to diss Paul George. If that's not Mean Girls, Tina Fey type shit, I don't know what is. This is why the NBA is so great, though.
Yeah.
The NBA is so great because if 2 football players was into it like this, all of America would be disappointed. This is what we expect from the divas in the NBA. I was like, whatever. Come on, man.
Oh my God, I love it.
Well, look, and then I thought the timing of Paul George coming out and saying this was kind of ironic. He says, "Mark my word, I'm gonna be on my bully shit next season."
So let me respond here, Ashley. You know, Ashley's our basketball expert here.
Okay.
She cooks basketball season. Astrodamus here, but I'm gonna go first. She usually goes first.
I don't care. Go first. I got nothing.
Ashley, when I heard this, you know, I love storylines. I think I'm leaning towards picking the Clippers. It's way too early to predict. But Kawhi Leonard, Paul, and who else they pick up?
Yeah, I was trying to remember. I mean, they still got Westbrook. They still got Westbrook, but you know that's
I just like them two, period, together, healthy.
You're a cheap date.
What do you mean?
You're a cheap date. Like, he said, I'm gonna be on my bully stuff, and all of a sudden you about to jump ship from the Suns to the Clippers because he strung together the right sentence for you. You're a cheap date.
Paul got game. Come on now, y'all can't tell me he's a walking bucket. He played D.
There's a lot of factors that is Kawhi playing? Is he gonna be healthy?
But you heard what Ty Lue said. Hold on, Van, listen. Ty Lue he was just on the podcast recently, and he came out and said he was like, "Look, I went to Paul and I went to Kawhi and I said, we got to take the regular season serious. And everything is a trickle down effect and start there. So now if you got Ty Lue really set, look at Van laugh. Why are you laughing, Van? What?
They did also get. I think the person you're thinking of, KJ Martin.
You sound like a Trump voter.
Huh?
Like, you sound like a Trump voter. They lost in 2020. They lost last year. You keep losing elections, but you still want to go back and do the same thing. It's not going to happen for the Clippers, bro. It's not going to happen.
Okay.
If they're going to look great, Kawhi going to come out and drop 45 in one game. And then after the game, it's going to be like he's out 6 weeks, strained meniscus. Then it's for whatever reason, they can't get over the hump, and it's not going to begin now. You can't. The Clippers have made it impossible to pick them.
All right, I'm going to stick with the Suns. I'll stick with the Suns.
Well, listen. The Clippers may not get it together, but we don't know. Only time will tell. But speaking of games, it is now time for What Does Corey Know?
Let's do it.
So here are the rules of the game, folks. We have 11 different images from blasts from the past, and Corey has to go and get it right with 10 seconds on the clock. No more, no less. If he cannot get it in 10 seconds, he does not get the point. Now, Corey, I need you to flip your laptop
I gotta flip it down.
a certain direction because the chat cannot help you.
I'm going to close it.
Yes.
Okay.
So we couldn't have had Van for a better show.
This is going to be fun. Now, what does Corey know?
That was a funny graphic right there.
So now, listen, when we get to certain situations, like there's going to be some movie characters, you have to name the character and the film.
Really?
Yes. Sorry.
Damn, I got to know my people.
You got to know your people, you got to know your films, and then other things are just like objects and things like that. Let me get my timer ready.
All right, let's do it.
While Ashley's getting the timer ready, can we throw that sizzle back up, the intro? That was pretty cool. Great job, Jazz.
Wait.
The sizzle. Well, we had the clip.
Yeah, like the
Yeah,
little,
we're gonna throw it back
little
up.
Corey intro thing.
Burgers, Jordans.
Okay.
Let's do it.
So I'm hoping these are in the order. I mean, it doesn't really matter. So let's go ahead and throw the first one up there and time.
Friday. That's Miss Parker. Come on.
Okay, we got one.
I don't know Miss Parker. Miss Parker. Miss Parker. Yeah.
Very good, Corey.
Van pulling for you, man.
That's one. That's one. Andrew, I need you to keep track of this for me so we can see how many he gets right, how many he gets wrong.
Match what they said I was going to finish with. So.
Well, no, they said it 11, 10, and 1, so
yeah,
you got
all right,
one.
We're going to see.
All right, here we go. And number 2.
I got the T-shirt, bro.
Ooh.
It's Samuel L. Jackson though, and
time. You did not get that one.
I know it.
No. Does someone want to give him the answer? Anyone on the panel want to give him the answer?
That is Jules from Pulp Fiction.
There you go.
I got the Pulp Fiction.
I gotta be honest here. Ashley. I knew that this was Pulp Fiction. I did not know his name was Jules.
Jules Winfield.
Yeah, but I never was a Pulp Fiction fan. I watched it. I knew this was Pulp Fiction, but I didn't know his name.
I'm sick.
I think character names could get a little difficult.
It doesn't matter. The game is the game.
Yeah, the game is the game. So that was an L.
I definitely would have known his name in that zone.
All right. And put the number 3 up there. Here we go.
Oh,
that looks like Boys in the Hood.
Young Buck, don't play yourself right here.
I'm gonna give you 5 extra seconds.
Not Boys in the Hood.
Not Boys
it's
in the
not
Hood?
Boys in the Hood.
Damn.
I'm gonna give you 5 extra seconds. Go ahead. Go.
It's not Don't Be a Menace.
Oh my God, bro.
I'm hurting, bro. I'm hurting.
And time. That's it. Someone want to give him the answer?
What was that one? I'm hurting.
Yo, that's Kanan O'Dog from Menace. Dog.
From Menace. That's from Menace to Society, though. It was from Menace to Society.
Dog, hold on, wait a minute.
Wait, Menace? Wait, what's that? All right, look at that. Am I digging myself in a deeper hole?
Stop for a second. Y'all fucking with me.
No.
I don't believe that this is true, bro.
This is true.
Tell him how we got here.
All the time on the show, Van.
Before we finish the game, I'm going to tell you right now. We came up with this concept because we throw out multiple references on the show, and Corey never gets them. For example, when an album just dropped, I think it was Gunna's album or Metro Boomin's album, something. Brandon said, okay, how many mics you giving it? And Corey was like, what do you mean how many mics? He didn't know the rating system of the source. Like, he doesn't know.
And then Shine, also Shine.
He didn't know who Shine was.
Went over my head, big dog. All right, yo, on to the next one, yo. I got to redeem myself.
Okay, so now.
I've seen all of these movies, though. That's what's crazy.
Corey's getting hot right now. I know he's getting competitive. He's hot right now.
I've seen all these genres.
All right, so we're going to go ahead and throw up number 4. Here we go. Ready?
Oh, that's Huey and what's the name from Boondocks?
Yeah.
Huey and I forgot the other
Good
one.
job.
No, Huey and who?
Come on, son, I know them though. That's
Huey
Boondocks.
and who?
I literally watch
Oh,
this
you
as
said
a jit
who
all the
are they?
time. Huey and Riley.
There you go.
Yeah,
I gave you a few extra
Yeah,
seconds because I
appreciate
felt
you.
bad
I
for you.
appreciate
Okay.
you.
There we go. We got, was it 2-2 right
It's
now?
2-2.
All right, here we go.
2 for 4, 2
Throw
for
out the
4.
next one.
We're on 50% from the field. That's LimeWire.
Okay, good job. Good
3 for
job.
5.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I was on there getting active. Yeah.
Hey, hold on, guys.
BP.
Time out.
Uh-huh.
What's LimeWire?
Oh, word.
Oh.
Yeah, joke's on you,
What does
fam.
Brandon know?
That's like where you download music.
That was like where we got music
Bear
after
share,
Napster got
Think
shut
Napster.
down.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
When Napster got hit with the RICO.
I'm still playing CDs.
Yeah.
I'm still doing CDs. Still.
Okay.
Hey,
All right.
good.
Let's throw the next one up there.
Come on, it's like a floppy disk. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, very good, Corey.
Yo,
Okay.
Yo, come on, they really trying to stump me with this.
I felt like these were too easy. JP threw these in here. I felt like these were too easy.
So what am I? 4 for 6? Yo, I'm going crazy from the field right now.
No, right now you're 4 and 2. Here we
4
go.
for 6. 4 for 6.
All right, here we go. Let's go to the next one up there.
AOL.
Okay.
The message.
JP, these were easy.
That's
Why did you
AIM.
give him these?
I'm killing it, yo. What the chat saying right
This
now?
is too easy. I don't know why JP was like throwing these in here. We had to give him really hard ones. All right, go ahead. Throw the next one up there.
Yeah, this Come on. This is John. Tupac was in this joint too.
What? He's talking about Juice.
I thought that was.
That's
Juice.
not Juice.
That's not Juice.
No,
Oh my God! Time's up. Time's up.
Already?
Paid in full.
That's Mitch, Ace, and Rico.
Yeah,
Money
right.
making Mitch.
Full.
Damn, bro. Yeah, Money Mitch. I knew that joint too, bro. They was.
Seriously, this kind of racist. Like, I'm starting to get. I'm like, I don't. What's going on here, bro? What?
Hey,
Yo, paid in full?
Yeah, that was paid in full.
Yo.
And these were the movies that I was searching up to. Yeah, that's crazy, bro.
What movie
Paid
did
in
you
Full.
think that was, Corey?
No, I know I watched it. Like,
Why'd you say
I've
Tupac?
definitely watched Paid in Full because for some reason I thought Tupac was in that joint.
Hey,
Wasn't he
Van,
there?
what's that one scene where he was in there? He was in the car, right, crying like my man's beat. What he say?
My little man's ain't still my little man's. I'm killing everything.
Yeah,
I want some real murder shit, B.
Yeah, real murder.
Right. Yeah, because I remember dude was all the way to the left. Like I said, I can't remember his name in real life. Can't remember his name in the movie. I just remember him.
Mackay
He was
Pfeiffer.
always trying to spill knowledge on dudes. Like he was the one trying to spill knowledge.
Wow.
Yeah. Damn, y'all
What's
got
the
me
score
though.
right now?
It is
4-7.
5-3.
5-3.
Three more?
5 out of 8.
All right.
3 more.
Let's see
Corey,
what else.
Corey
I'm
has
doing
5,
solid,
right?
bro. I'm doing
Yeah.
good.
Okay.
He got because JP threw him some easy ones. All right.
Yeah.
Let's go. Throw this up here. What is this called?
What are those called? Like the little Kirby Jones?
No.
Chia Pet? Nah. I forgot. Furby?
Yes! You got it in the clutch.
Yeah, I know, right?
He said a chia pet. Okay.
The Kirby.
I'm starting to believe that JP worked with him a little bit.
I'm thinking JP threw him
They
the
co-producers,
assist here. This is not making
Van.
no
They co-producers,
Nah,
man.
because the ones that I should have got, I ain't get though. I'm mad I ain't get the paid in full.
He kind of threw him some
I'm
easy
actually
ones
embarrassed.
here.
I'm with Van. That might have been racist on my part.
All right, throw the next one up there.
I'm from South Florida. I'm from Broward.
You have no excuses. That's as black as
Yeah.
niggas everywhere.
Yeah, right.
I just got word from our producers that we're going to make this a weekly segment.
Not
What does
weekly.
Corey know?
This is
Not
dope.
weekly.
During the off season, before football and basketball really gets into full motion, we are going to try to. We're going to keep a tally of your win and loss record, and see at the end of the What Does Corey Know saga exactly how much you know and don't know. All right, throw the next one
I'm
up there.
6 for 9. Those are, what were those called?
Your mom, yes, no,
That's time. Those are what we call treasure trolls.
Treasure trolls. No, I wouldn't have got that one. I remember seeing them though. But yeah, treasure trolls.
You know what y'all should do? Y'all should give people the opportunity to play against him. Because let me tell you something right now, brother. People are gonna be so mad about that man's society clip. Y'all break that clip out. I can't get over that, bro.
Right.
Y'all break that clip out and put that clip on Twitter. You gonna be famous, bro. I'm saying, that's crazy.
Hey, Corey gonna start walking out in public, going in like Publix or whatnot. And they gonna be like, yo, you the guy that didn't know what Menace to Society was?
Nah, look at you. It was paid in full, right? Look at him. He already
no. There was both. There's Menace to Society and Paid in Full. You got both of them wrong.
I said don't be a menace though. I had named like the little spoof. It was the spoof.
Yeah, the Wayne's Brothers spoof.
See, that's
I knew it was Menace. I knew it was Menace.
But you didn't know their names.
I know. I didn't.
Okay. We got one more for you, Corey. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Here we go. Where is it?
Wait. Let me stop. Corey, don't fuck up, bro.
Nah, that's
And that's time.
already. No, that's crazy. Cause he said stop. He told.
I'll
me
give
to
you
stop.
2 extra seconds. Go ahead.
I noticed. Like I said, all these movies I've been seeing.
Nah, I don't believe it.
Oh, yo, this was
I don't believe
oh
it.
my goodness.
And that's
Corey.
5 extra seconds. That's time.
Oh my goodness.
On my dad, y'all fucking with me. I'm being for real. Like all my phone, I don't believe it.
Van, this is how this whole thing actually created this. It's because we having these conversations. He didn't know. And Ash like, we need to play a game. This is ridiculous.
Because what's bro name in real life?
That is, bro.
He don't know MB.
You don't know his real name?
That's
No.
They always
Not
make
whose
fun of
real
him 'cause
name
how
is
black
Wesley
he is.
Snipes.
You know what I'm saying? Like you black is bruh. You know what I'm saying, bruh?
You don't. Okay, wait. So
No,
you don't know who the
Wesley
actor
Snipes. That's Wesley Snipes.
But what's the character?
What's the
I know,
character?
I forgot the movie.
Nino Brown.
That's Nino
That's
Brown.
Nino
from
Brown.
New Jack
Yeah,
City.
New Jack City. That's what I'm saying. I couldn't place the face with the actor with the name of the movie, New Jack City. I know that movie, bro. New Jack City. How I did though?
Andrew, what's the final?
He said how I did.
Corey got 6 out of 11, so he was basically 1 over.
I got one
I was
more.
1 over 50.
you got one more?
I got one more.
All right,
Jeez.
Corey.
And I gave him this. I gave him a heads up before to see if he Googled it. Death must be easy because life is hard.
50 Cent.
Yeah, okay.
That's easy.
50 Cent.
But he ain't know earlier. Earlier he was like, "Oh, what?"
Mentally and emotionally scarred. Yeah, okay.
So, man, now that you witnessed that game in person, do you
crazy.
feel about Corey and his blackness?
This is my thing about Corey. I fuck with Corey heavy.
I appreciate you,
Corey's
bro.
sitting there in a blender, in a torture chamber, and he being as cool about it as anybody I've ever seen. See, I didn't know New Jack City. I really be freaking out. He like, yeah, I'm going crazy from the field. Yo.
Hey, I finished
Man, it's
over
cool.
50.
I ain't seen it, dog. I do what I do. I'm saying some, like I said before, some real light skinned shit. You need to raise the bar, Corey. I'm gonna be back on here.
Yeah.
I want you on higher learning, Corey. I want all y'all on higher learning.
Done.
I want
We
the
with it.
whole
Yeah, done
panel
deal.
on higher learning because we got to investigate this.
Right.
Yo, he said, oh my God, y'all fucking
Yo,
with me.
Van, really quickly before we let you go. So first off, thank you so much. You know, you're a phenomenal gatekeeper of the culture. Legendary moment with Kanye. I'm not going to dive into that because I like to get messy, but we won't talk about that. I do want to ask you, just talk a little bit about what you got going on. Where can everybody find you? And then I have one more thing for you before we go.
You can find me, the Ringer Podcast Network, Spotify, Higher Learning, every Tuesday and Friday with Rachel Lindsay, the Ringerverse, the Rewatchables, just a million different things I'm doing over there. Hip Hop Homicides right now is airing on WeTV. A lot of stuff going on. We got a couple of television shows, if we ever get back to work, that we got coming up for next year. A lot of great stuff going on in my life. And I'll be at Revolt World in Atlanta in September. So going all over the place, doing a lot of things, really getting an opportunity to express myself. So I'm very blessed with that.
What are you most excited about right now? What gets you up every morning?
Oh, great question. What gets me up every morning is the opportunity to know more. Let's tell you what I mean. When I was a younger man, I really thought that I was going to change the world. And I think everybody who's 25 and has aspirations thinks so. I think I'm past that. I don't think that I am going to change the world, but I do have a deep desire to make sense of it, to understand, so that we can keep building and passing down knowledge that gets us closer to where we're trying to go. And that gives me peace. So all of the trimmings of what I do are great, but every day I get to learn and interact and be challenged by people and challenge people, and that gives me peace, and I'm in a good spot with that.
Right.
I love that.
We have 1 minute left, and I want to end with this. Have you ever publicly talked about like your like transformation, like your health transformation?
Yeah, I talk about it, man. It's like Fat, Crazy, and Tired is the book. You can go get the book. I never mentioned that the publishers hate it, but I talk about it a lot. Like I can tell you people right now, anybody that's struggling, at one time I was around 370 pounds. For me, my life I wouldn't have had anything that I have now if I wouldn't have been able to conquer that.
Wow.
So it wasn't necessarily about fitting to anybody's standard of beauty or getting to a place where people thought that I was attractive enough to go on a date with or anything like that. It was knowing that there was something in front of me that I wanted to change and actually having the wherewithal to change it. So I encourage people to love themselves in the skin that they're in, but also remember, if you want to change your circumstances of your life, then there probably is a way that you can dig down and do it. So if you want to change, do it.
So our studio Paper Route is inside of House of Athlete, Van, and you know my passion and my life's work. Super passionate about wellness, and you're one of those champions of physical and mental health. And that's another conversation that we got to dive deeper into. And hell, maybe it's on higher learning, right? We'll do that. Ashley, you in? You going to higher learning?
For sure.
Corey, you in?
You know I'm with it.
We bringing a whole squad too, bro. The whole squad.
Can't wait.
Yes.
We're going to play Corey's game. And
That's right.
Corey, if you lose, you got to go to an HBCU for the semester.
That's crazy. Hey, believe it or not, I spent a year at a HBCU too. I'm a Morgan State. I'm actually a Morgan State grad.
We blackity black.
Yeah.
Still ain't never seen New Jack City.
Yo. Hey, man. Hey, I'm gonna do better next time, yo. I'm gonna do better next time.
And that's the show. We love Van. We love all of you guys for rocking with us. We see y'all coming back every single day. This I Am Athlete presenting Paper Route. See you tomorrow.
Bye, guys.
Van.